events. He helps me with my house, keeps me
Sometimes.
But anyway, y'all in for a treat. I just wish you could see a house that he totally decorates. It is awesome. Or an event that he helps totally decorate. It's awesome.
Excuse me, they're bringing more chairs.
Oh, right.
Did you say it was Carmichael Road where you live?
Where's there?
Where's there?
That's flowers and so.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, do you know the flower shop? Have y'all ever been there? Rodney?
Where we didn't see
Yeah.
Where's
Berry Road?
What's the name of
Flowers, etc. Where's Berry Road? Rodney Higgins.
Right, we're almost directly across from ACA, Alabama Christian Academy, if you know where they are. Before I bought it out 3 years ago, I was at Covent Gardens over in Sturbridge for 8 years. So I may know some of y'all from seeing in and out of there. I started out as a child going to my grandparents' farm. They would farm like 20 acres. And I started loving growing stuff, plants, vegetables, it didn't matter. So after I got out of college, went to work in a flower shop in a greenhouse. And it just kind of revolved from there. We specialize in vase arrangements, party work, tablescapes, and all holiday decor. As simple as putting lights on your tree and starting at the driveway and coming all the way up in the house. But now that all the PR's out of the way, when they talked to me about doing something, I thought about it, and you know, like big arrangements, if you put enough in them, they always look pretty. Most people anyway. Unfortunately, I'm sure if you do flowers, you know how often you're asked or volunteer to do an event, and there's never any money. You're always going to have these people help you, they're always going to fetch you this stuff, but it always falls through. So, one of the best things you can have in your arsenal are cylinder containers in different shapes, different sizes, different heights, because you can do a number of different things with them. You can do something short, you can put a candle in them, do something tall, or you can even have something coming out of the top of them. You can do flowers, candles, rocks, marbles, just about anything you want to do. From there, you can even make it a little more interesting by adding some different shades to it. And these are all items that aren't that expensive. You don't have to worry if you don't get it back. When you start working with anything that's got a big mouth on it, and no money, no flowers, you make a basic grid-work pattern with your oasis stuff. This comes in a clear too, so you don't see it, but I did it with the green so you'd see it. That way, at any point, instead of having to worry about buying a whole lot of flowers for anything, you can get away with actually just a few stems. Add some more greenery to it. And a little bit of greenery, regardless of which kind you want.
Can you hold that up when you get finished?
Y'all can't see the back.
If there's a rock for the bottom.
Can you name your greenery?
This is Floral, also known as lemon leaf. Carnations get a bad rap, but they're really very versatile. They're fairly inexpensive. They come in almost every color you can imagine. Unless you break them, they last long. Like I said, this, if it has the rocks in it, you can see if you wanted to vamp it up a little bit more, you can always add some bluegrass to it. And you've got something that's tall, but you've only got 5 flowers in it. And like I said, you're not having to worry about them sitting like this in your vase.
Oh, I got my set. Okay, set.
And then, everything's changed in our business too, just like with everything else. Where you used to wouldn't wear stripes and polka dots, of course you can now, right after Labor Day. You know, used to, everything had to look alike at a party, a wedding, reception. Now you can add so much difference and interest in the room by swapping up your heights, the type of arrangement you do. As long as you keep your colors the same, you're still going to get a really nice look. When you walk into a party or reception, if you look, there's 20 tables with little round centerpieces or tall silver urns. They're nice, they're pretty, but after a little while, you don't even notice them anymore because they're everywhere you look. They're almost like chair cover. You know, if you go in and do like 3 different styles, then the people there, almost everywhere they look, they're going to see something different with the flowers. Plus, you don't have to worry about having 100 of this Gerber in this color. As long as you keep your colors the same, you're good to go. Another thing now, of course, is all the little colored bottles. And there again, you can do as many in them or as few in them, and it doesn't even have to be flowers. You can easily just do a filter. Well, that's it. I mean, this is the table scape. You can do it on a long table. You can mix it up on a round table.
Windowsill.
Right. You can always add some greenery, some garlands to it, if you want to. Of course, who doesn't love a good bird nest? You know, you can take the jute, you can go to a fabric store and get fabric. You can actually tie it with like the same raffia, if you were going to use raffia on that. And of course it comes in all different colors. Like I said, you can easily tie this wherever you want it tied and however you want it on the table. Or just leave it straight, buy fabric, iron the sides down, and you've got a table runner. Real cheap compared to what they usually run. Alright, like I said, that's another idea. These glasses, the color bases come in a lot of different colors. You can't find a particular color you want. You take the clear one and put a couple drops of acrylic paint in them, a couple teaspoons full of water, and basically just work it around in your base. They'll completely color it from the outside. We're going to put these over here for now. Back to the cylinders.
Hey, Rodney, you take a clear vase and put some water in here, right?
To do what?
Paint.
To paint them?
Paint 'em.
You put like a couple drops of acrylic paint in it, and then like 2 teaspoons of water. And then swirl it and turn it upside down and everything, and you get whatever color you want to work with. It can be any kind of cheap vase, bottle, liquor bottle, any kind of bottle.
And the paint won't affect the flowers?
No, ma'am. You let it dry and it won't, it's just like a regular paint. The vases themselves, you don't always have to even just see the stems of everything. You can use curly willow in the bottom, you can use foliage in the bottom. You can take magnolia leaves and actually alternate which way they are in there. That gives you a lot of texture, a lot of look with the green and the brown. You can start with that. We're going to put in that one, that's in the bottom. So we're going to get back to this collar that's had that in it.
So Rodney, that you just put on top is a little,
This is one of the little loamy dishes.
loamy. Everybody knows
It
what's
comes
a
in a lot of
loamy
different
dish?
sizes, like a 6, a 9, a 12, and a 15.
Hey, Lomas don't know what loamy dishes are.
It's like a plastic acrylic dish, saucer. And like I said, it's like a 6, a 9, a 12, and a 21 maybe?
Yeah.
The biggest one is huge.
And what did you say the word again?
Loamy, L-O-O-M-E-Y.
They come in a lot of colors too, black and clear.
And then I guess, and then you
That
put a
is.
waist in that?
Flowers really shouldn't be almost like your clothes or your furniture in your house. They need to represent you and what you like. People should be able to walk in and say, hey, that looks like something Jane would do. That looks like Jane. Whether it's fun, quirky, you know, whichever way it goes. Okay. Hey, can you bring those back?
Yeah. We're gonna recycle.
Oh, we're gonna
right?
recycle, yeah. So we're gonna basically do the same type of arrangement, except this one's gonna be on top of it. Anything you have with woody stems, the stick, you can always whittle down, so that you don't have to worry so much about your oasis busting. And like I said, there again, this is just a few pieces of greenery. That I
And
cut.
what is in your green? Identify your green.
I've got lemon leaf, I've got plumosas, also known as asparagus farm by some people, and lemon lime dracaena.
Lemon lime what?
Dracaena. It's one of their new colors that they just started coming out with a couple of years ago. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna put the little three carnations back in it.
And this is how fast Rodney works. Wherever he is, this is how fast he works.
That's because Rodney likes to eat and have power, so he's gonna do what he gotta do and go home. Don't tell you that.
Where did you say it was
From,
from?
but he's been in business 32 years too.
And he has a great eye.
Okay, so now we've got this.
No,
Barn, a few little more filler. And basically, it's out of arrangement, but the more layers you add to it, the more dramatic it can become, and without even adding a lot more elements.
ooh, I love the feathers.
Oasis.
And these, of course, are the faux feathers, so you can bend them any way you want them to go. And they come in just about any color you want. And now for very little money, now you've got an entirely different looking centerpiece that looks more like $100 instead of 10. And like I said, it goes back to the layering. This one's for the zoo, they're having a party. So we'll put a little moss off of it. Add a little curly wood to it.
Is that corkscrew?
Yes, ma'am. There's this wonderful ribbon that looks almost like roots. Don't know if you can see it, I'll pass it around. Oh, did you? It's great.
It's great, we got the green.
It's great. Like I said, we could add that to it. And if you wanted to, you could even pop some ribbon up in it. And like I said, I mean, you've got a big, nice looking arrangement that somebody's gonna think you spent a lot of money on it, and we've only got 5 flowers in it, basically. Every layer you add to it, and it gives it a different dimension, and bumps it up to another place. Keep your eye out, because you never know what you're gonna run across. Something like this, you can easily cut the bottom out of, put it right on top of your vase, and just poke right through it. You've got a whole see? Now you know what you go home and do with it. Like I said, it's all about
What is it?
seeing things and seeing things you can use and work with, stuff that's different. Now, we're back to the basic arrangements. For years, if you'll remember, we could only work with odd numbers. Flowers. That's long gone. The easiest way I've found to train new designers in doing vases is telling them just to do 2 of each flower, directly do them across from each other, almost at a 45-degree angle in the vase, and you'll see, it's the easiest way to do it. You'll take your greenery, you just cross it, almost like you were just building a grid, and that holds your flowers in place. You can do this, I mean, like in the shop, we do it actually in the vase, but you can do it in your hand. Most Europeans do it in their hands. And Montgomery, I own Flowers and Cellar. Up on Waresbury Road. I love yard foliage. Unfortunately, everybody in my shop's been sick and we've passed it back and forth for the last month. So I did not have enough time to get it. So y'all will just have to pretend. But there's nothing better to work with and better to give you different textures than stuff out of the yard. And anytime you can get it directly in water instead of Oasis, we all know it's going to last longer. Mine is actually greenery. I love it. I love viburnum, odocarpus, aspidistra. I can make a whole range with just that greenery. I don't even got to have flowers. But unfortunately, most customers don't want this green. Like I said, you basically, all you've done is just kind of build a grid and you just throw it. You know, just go pick it right back up. It's all together, basically. Then you take it. Like I said, you can do this in the vase. Depending on what you have. You know, you put it in there, you've got your greenery. Alright, so we'll start with just one.
You call that a bouquet of greenery, or
Two.
What'd you call it?
Just mixed greenery, assorted greenery.
When you did that, what were you doing?
Weaving it. They call it weaving, actually.
Okay, Rodney, tell everything you're using now.
Oh, delphinium, liatris. Excuse me. And if, like I said, if you'll just go across from each other with two of each, or snapdragons. Purple sunflowers.
Purple.
Couple Berbers. Something with Dutch iris. Or Dutch iris, and one that will be in a couple days. I try to, even at the shop, like on the liatris and stuff, I usually try to keep it above the water line, so it doesn't turn so bad. Then we'll just add a couple Ostromeras.
What was her question?
About removing foliage below the water line, or not, whether to or not. Well, like I said, the biggest thing is to make it fun. Make it you. You know, think about using stuff that you might not normally use, whether it's fruit or vegetables.
What is that?
Solidega. That everybody gets confused with goldenrod. It's not. Otherwise, I'd be sneezing right now.
You could use goldenrod if you don't have it, but,
Now, what are those wax?
This is wax flowers. Just the normal wax. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm still clogged up and still can't breathe. But Debbie wasn't killing me for me calling saying I wasn't coming. So, I'm just saying.
oh, that's pretty.
And then the little miniature carnations, just a little pops color, a little depth down in there.
I'm curious how you selling around with that many different varieties of flowers.
45.
I mean, I don't know that I would do, I would not do 75.
Well, you know, some of it depends on what the market will bear too, depending on where you're from. You know, and then just a few pieces of lily grass, just loosen it up a little bit. The only thing, I do have the sunflowers wired. Not, I double wire them. I use 2 wires. It doesn't really, it helps them just a little bit enough. And then I do wire my girders. But like I said, basically you just go across from each other. Just 2, 2, and 2. You know, and it's an easy fix, an easy thing to do. All right. That is basically all I have for y'all. I want to thank you for your time. I hope you learned something. The big thing is go home, enjoy it, have fun. Take that table instead of doing a long low centerpiece, scatter it with song. Whether it's different base heights or bird houses or balls or what, but scatter it with something to make it interesting while they're sitting there.
If it's a ball, how would you attach it to the container? And where would you start putting your greenery in before you put your flowers?
With this, I probably would not use much greenery because I want the ball itself to show. You know how like if you use a hydrangea for a base, where you don't really cover it as much? I'd probably have it barely over the lip of this, and then maybe have some greenery at the very bottom. And then, like I said, maybe a sprig or 2 greenery here, and that's it. And the rest do flowers.
How'd you get, how would you get
Cut this, and just cut in, if the wire around it's bendable,
Okay.
and then you can just get it where it was on this lip and good and tight.
You have those in your shop?
I did have, I don't know if I still have any or not, to be honest. I took some down to Laverne on a job I had somebody with a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if we used them or not. They would still be in a box.
How much are they?
I think they were like $6.95 or $7.95.
Oh, wow, that's reasonable.
Which, like I said, it's not seasonal. You know, this is something you could pretty much use year round. And it's got enough to it that it's still got interest just by itself sitting there.
And don't they come smaller and larger? Like I
Yes,
have?
usually.
Yeah, that's what I-
Because I have a smaller one than this
Yes.
and then this size. Yes, ma'am.
You could put that in, just a terracotta pot too.
Oh, yeah.
Just setting in a
Uh-huh.
terracotta pot. And
Let them grapevine and let it
people took terracotta pots and took the foam balls, the heavy foam balls, took broken pieces of pottery, don't throw your old pottery out, crack it up and
Made it like a
glue
mosaic.
it on
Yeah.
and then put moss in between.
It's like, almost like a mosaic.
Yeah.
That would work right.
Can you find those online?
These, probably.
What are they called?
I'd probably Google grapevine spears first, or grapevine
They have
balls.
them at Hobby Lobby. I've seen them at
Oh, have
Hobby
you?
Lobby.
Okay.
Hobby Lobby?
I've seen them at Hobby
Any
Lobby.
other questions?
Do you have a card?
Can I do something? Let me see if I've got my notes.
Send it where we get a picture. Put it in front of the wall so your shirt doesn't take away from it.
Could you just,
There you go, that's
Disappear.
perfect, that's perfect.
Come on, there, just
I can disappear. You couldn't see the back.
They come in handy for so many things.
This one?
everyone needs working on, oh, sorry.
Y'all see how he did